Let's move on now to the Pittsburgh Steelers and our 2023 NFL Draft review. But before we get into that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to get notified when Ryan and I create new Pittsburgh Steelers content and also general NFL content as well. We have a goal of trying to get to 2,000 subscribers by the NFL season, and I think as of right now, we're sitting at around 1,240. So we're getting close there. We got a couple of months, so any help would be great. It's the easiest way to help out the channel. And so, Ryan, that being said, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, once again, similar to Mike Tomlin's consecutive non-losing season record streak, they hit another draft out of the park. I mean, this is another one. And I think we need to start having draft streaks for teams that just have an A- or above on all their picks. Because I'm going through it. Maybe I don't know enough about Corey Trice or Spencer Anderson to give, and I say that because they're 2 7th-round picks.
Yeah, I know Corey Trice. I like Corey Trice is a really athletic corner. But let's get in. Let's start with the
no. Sorry, what I was going to say though is their first 5 picks, love them, great picks. Yeah. All guys going to come in and contribute from day one. So, but yes, let's get into this picks. You were saying specifically you really like the Broderick Jones pick for outside of just all the potential.
Yeah. So first off, Broderick Jones was the most offensive tackle coming into this class. He's definitely the most raw, but he has the highest ceiling throughout the entire draft process. I definitely compared him to Trent Williams more than a couple times. I think he could be that good. And in Pittsburgh, I think he's going to get the right coaching and could develop into something really special. So I also like it as a Patriots fan. It screwed over the Jets. So I appreciate that, Steelers Nation. But yeah, so I think that's a fantastic pick. And then moving on, Joey Porter Jr., that's a fantastic story from Joey Porter to Joey Porter Jr. But then I also think I think most of the time we had him go in the top 20, top 25 in our mock drafts. And to get him here at the top of the second round, I think is fantastic.
It would have been justified if they took him at 17. If they didn't trade up. And so for him to still be here is an amazing pick. And so not only they beef up that offensive line with potentially, you could argue, one of the best offensive line prospects in this class, but then they go and get a great young corner that can help compete day one. Then they added Patrick Peterson in the offseason to help learn from him. And so and on top of that, you get Keanu Benton to now back up, or essentially be their nose tackle. As of right now on our lads, he is the starting nose tackle. He'll probably be more of a rotational piece, just kind of depending on how they run their offense. But still, though, he'll be able to learn from Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, obviously T.J. Watt. He's more of an outside linebacker, but I mean he's the defensive end, so to say, that Swiss Army knife sack producing machine. So I really like this pick a lot. I think that he honestly should have gone sooner than 49. So once again, great value here as well.
I think looking back at this draft, we could definitely see Keanu Benton as the best interior defensive lineman, possibly behind Jalen Carter. And to get that at 49 is fantastic value. And then Darnell Washington at 93 is just ridiculous. I mean, I know there's that concern with his knees, but the talent that you would get if you can keep him healthy is just amazing. And I think he has more receiving upside than people give him credit for. He just wasn't necessarily used in that role at Georgia a lot because they had Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
So,
well, and this is also, and we were saying this a bunch, as day 2 was unfolding, and then even when the tight end streak kept going on, I just kept thinking, it's when's Darnell Washington going to come off the board? And I see these teams who have a weaker offensive line and be like, 2 birds, 1 stone. He's another lineman that can go out and catch.
Yeah.
And they passed on him. And if they had concerns over his knees and they didn't want to use a second round pick on him or an early 3rd round pick, I totally get it. So getting him here at 93, if they're able to figure out the knee situation and if he's able to manage that and he's able to come in and produce, then now you have Pat Freiermuth on one side. He's more of your receiving tight end, obviously. But if Darnell can develop into the receiver similar to Pat Freiermuth. He just needs to be like 50% of what Pat Freiermuth is. Then with his blocking capabilities, he's going to be a huge weapon for that team, especially in the goal line zone. Going to help out Najee Harris a bunch. So I really like what they have done in the offseason now, and then now these first 4 picks of the draft. And another thing too, I didn't realize this until we got on here before, but I'm looking at the free agents that they signed, and then also just looking at the draft picks. I'm like, oh, Herbig, is that related? And I'm like, oh yeah. So it's neat. It's neat to see that then they're sticking it within the family twice.
Yeah.
Joey Porter Jr. and then now the Herbig brothers are going to be going up against one another. So and I like that pick as well. I remember when the Falcons were picking at 113, they ended up taking Clark Phillips, which I was very excited about, who's corner. But it's like if you wanted to go pass rush again, I would like Herbig here as well. It's good value here, the 4th round, and they got him at 132.
Yeah, no, he was extremely productive in the Big Ten, and I think that's awesome value. And then Corey Trice and Spencer Anderson. I don't know too much about Spencer Anderson, but that's pick 251, so you're approaching the very end of the draft. But Corey Trice is a big athletic corner from Purdue and tested really well. He's about 6'3", 205, 210, so definitely could play kind of in the slot, maybe even convert him into more of a box safety, but he's extremely physical, has really good length. So all in all, let's go ahead and get into our grades. We can kind of break it down. So actually, this is a rarity, but Tyler and I agree on this grade. So we gave them an A-. I think they had a really solid draft, right? They brought in 3 guys that are going to be starters right away in Broderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr., and Keanu Benton. And then Darnell Washington, I think, is going to have a rotational role. He has a little bit of risk there with the knees being flagged at the combine. And then I think you throw in Nate Herbig in there as well. He's definitely going to be in situational pass rushing roles as well. So
it was tough for me to rank because I think there were a lot of teams that had really good drafts, and I went into this like I only want to give one team an A+, and that's essentially like who I feel like had the best draft overall. Steelers were definitely in that conversation. Well, the conversation I had in my head, there's a lot of those. So, but and then I went A's. There were several at A's, and I just felt like the ones at A's were like Houston, Indianapolis, like guys. Another one I think was Houston and Indianapolis. As of right now, Chicago was also up there. And for me, I felt like they just had a little bit more exciting picks. I think, and not saying that the Steelers didn't have good picks, because I really love their draft, and this is going to help propel them farther into the playoffs, can win in the AFC North. Sticking with the A-, it was really tough to pick between which of the few teams should get A grades for me. And so they're, I would say, 5th, probably the 5th best draft, I would think. And it's very close.
Yeah, no, I like what they did. They filled a lot of the holes on their roster, and I think they're going to have a lot of good contributors from this class. But let's go ahead and wrap up the Steelers draft recap there. Let us know down below what you guys thought of the Steelers draft. Let us know your favorite picks. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Do you think they had the best draft in the entire NFL? And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe and smash that bell to get notified when Tom and I create new content. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.